Because Sydney knows Brendan since he's 2 years old. And one night, Jordy got hurt running around the house, and we had to take him to the hospital. And we grabbed Brendan. He was 2 years old or 3, and we put him in Sydney's hands and said, "You take care of him. We got to drive to the hospital. So what do I do with him? You figure it out." So there are pictures of Brendan in Sydney's hands, arms.
Being babysat.
Babysat.
All right, welcome to Never Offside. Today we have a very special guest, Pat Brisson, the co-head of CAA Hockey. It's our first power agent, our first agent on the show. So
yeah.
That's so exciting.
You say power agent, first agent, but like the agent. So good job, Kat. Good job.
He's just the sweetest, so can't wait for that. But in the meantime, you have not been on my recent call logs, and that's weird.
I have not been on Never Offside in some time.
That too.
Nor your call logs, nor anything in life. I'm just like kind of constantly playing catch up.
For fun,
for
fun reasons.
Weeks. When this podcast airs, I will be on an airplane back to Minnesota, back for Game 6.
Back to the Mall of America.
Back to the Mall of America, my backyard.
You have been killing me with the Mall of America content. It is your favorite place, I feel like.
Honestly, should be my mailing address. I'm there more than I'm not.
Are the boys coming tomorrow? Or
They are not. They're not going on this trip. We were there last week for 3 and 4, came home, back to school, back to routine. And then Mama's going back alone.
Aww.
My mom's staying here with the boys. She's the MVP of it all because she's kind of she's just here to help.
Yep.
So it's great. It's so fun. It's so interesting because the last time we were in playoffs was when we went to the Stanley Cup final, Kat.
Oh my
That was
God.
the last time I witnessed playoffs.
5 years ago?
Yes. So I'm like older, wiser perspective.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I can keep my nerves at bay, but I'm noticing on game days, like I cannot eat. Like I can't eat. And my husband isn't even playing in these games. Like he's the 7th defenseman. Sometimes it's like a maybe. Sometimes he might be like he's taking warm-ups every game because TBD reasons.
Yeah.
I'm still a ball of nerves.
Well, if you weren't, that'd be weird. You and I, we're sports people. Like
I'm like, but anyways, it's just funny watching playoffs. Like the highs are high and the lows are lows. 1 goal high, you're like here, and 1 goal low, you're in the worst mindset ever. And I'm like, stay in the middle because it's a long run. So that just keeps me my reminder is stay in the middle.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I follow some girls on Mini, and I saw you in a photo, and I was like, what's Julie doing there?
Yes.
Like
Totally. I'm shocked when I see myself in a photo.
I saw, I forget who it was. I forget whose it was, but it literally was you in the jacket. I'm like, when did she even get that jacket? When did she get the WAG jacket? How did she even get it?
Oh my God, I'm dying because I'm actually still shocked to see myself. And honestly, I think I read a comment the other day that goes, "Oh no shit, this is the first time I realized Jeff Petrie plays for the Minnesota Wild," because I saw his wife.
Because Julie's just mogging in all the photos.
Crying.
I'm dying. It was like a jump scare. A good jump scare. Yeah.
Literally a jump scare. Me too. But it's been so wonderful. The vibes in Mini are high. The group is fantastic, both on the guy side and the girl side.
Okay.
All I keep saying to myself is this group is too good for it to be called short. That's my mindset and that's my vibes. But it's so fun, and I'm riding the waves and trying to book, all my things, all my podcasting and all my meetings in my days that I know I'm going to be home.
Yep.
I also have really a nice setup there in Minnesota at my hotel there, and kind of the side hallways of Mall of America if I need to take a meeting there.
It's
I
like
know
your
the
own
quiet
little, like,
spots.
it's like that Sex in the City apartment, you know, that everyone dreams of having their own, like,
Totally
city
comparable. Totally. Anyways, all that to say is we would be remiss if we do not talk about the WAG jackets. I know from our perspective, it's like, okay, just like let them be, but they are there. And I just think we need to recognize the WAG jackets and I feel like this year more than ever, it is like a thing.
I mean, it gets bigger and bigger every year. It gets bigger every outdoor game. It gets bigger every
yes,
month in the NHL.
And the rating, I'm dying. I'm just watching this, like the ratings, the people just ripping some to shreds, and I'm
Oh
just
my
like,
God.
be nice. Like
Our girl Annie is her content is slanging right now.
she's on it. Like day 4 of WAG jacket reveal. And I'm just dying because I mean, like, it's so funny to me because it's just so funny because I'm like, we've lost the plot. We're in the playoffs, but it is so fun in bringing like that kind of like light to the sport.
Yeah,
it's really been fun to watch, and I think they're all great. Like as some would say, some are so boring, and what some might say Minnesota's are boring. I'm fine with it
because people went neutrals this year, and people are in arms about.
Can I just defend? I will defend the craziest jacket and then the like most tame of jackets.
Yeah.
Like from some people's perspectives and wives and girlfriends' perspectives, like sometimes they want to be really under the radar. Sometimes they don't want to scream like I'm a WAG. You know, like, and wearing that. So it goes into the neutral, and I just love all the banter around it.
So remember a few episodes, I forget. Oh no, it was Sydney. When we were talking with Sydney about how we look like a bunch of Girl Scouts walk, or like a softball team or a gymnastics team.
And I know we're just talking about clothes here. I know it's all relative, but I know how stressful it is on the manufacturer and the designer. And some of these girls are like one women shows or one man shows.
Yeah.
And I am giving them, because I've done a custom order for a team and I could not sleep. Like you can't sleep. So
the nice thing about that is all the teams are now giving recognition. It's like we talked about this last year, but like the teams are really showing how they're made, taking us behind the scenes. So that is actually cool that it's part of the playoffs now. It's like a part of the playoffs.
It is. It's so funny. It's I love it. And there will definitely be more to come, I'm sure. So follow Sweet Annie O because she's the one that is doing all the recounts of it.
They're so good.
Yeah, they really are. Coming up, we have super agent, the agent of all agents, I think, Pat Brisson. We are going to chat all things, just everything from how we got into hockey to funny stories. I mean, he drops a bomb on us about Sid babysitting his kid to, so much more. So that'll be up next after the break.
Welcome back to Never Offside. We are here with our very special guest. He is the co-head of CAA Hockey. He's an NHL power agent, but he's also hubby to Kimmy. He's the dad of Brendan and Jordan. And fun fact, I obviously love that he's also a Pom and a Yorkie dad. So please welcome Pat Brisson. Thank you so much for joining us, Pat.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Looking forward to it. Kat, Julie.
Yeah, it's nice to meet you. Kat and I were talking that I don't think we've ever officially met, but we definitely were in the same building plenty of times, whether it's the Bell Center or maybe in Pittsburgh. Who knows? We had to have crossed paths at some point.
Yeah.
So nice
that
to
hockey world's a small world. So
it sure is.
So Pat, I just want to start off with this. So you've been Ty's agent for quite a while now. And a fun fact is that you are the only person in Ty's phone that can get through when it's on silent. I don't know if you know that. Have you been told that by many clients?
It's a great question. I have not, actually. I'm pretty sure, though, around the trade deadline or around July 1st, it's off. I'm pretty sure that I'm not on silence for sure.
Yeah, you can
For
get
some
through.
clients, but it's a good question. I'm pretty sure I'm not on silence, around that time.
I mean, the fact that I'm not in that on Ty's phone, but you are, I mean, it just shows.
Well, well, there was probably some important times that decisions that we had to make, obviously collectively. But I'm sure you were on the,
Same
we
level of
find different
importance.
vibe. He had a different vibe
Yeah.
for sure, for sure. I know that.
That's so funny. Okay, I want to go back and just learn a little bit more about how you got into hockey representation and then go into just the whole culture you've created at CAA. It's pretty remarkable to admire. But what got you into hockey repping?
Well, it's interesting. I got a couple days ago, actually, my cousin sent me a video that my grandfather sent of me playing hockey when I was 6 years old or something like that. It's really old footage, and that's what your question brought me there right away. Oh my God, it's old. It's very old. It's about 55 years old. But no, I grew up in Montreal. Hockey's everything there, and my grandfather was a hockey player actually, and then so everyone plays hockey. But to fast forward, I mean, hockey not only been part of my life 110%, but I wanted to be an NHL player like every young hockey players in Quebec, and so I played some very good hockey in the midget AAA and in the Quebec Major League for 4 years, and I had a couple of tryouts actually with the Montreal Canadiens, and I played 1 year in Europe. I played in Holland. And then right around that time, I had the privilege to play hockey with so many great players, and one of which was Luc Robitaille, and Luc and I play on the same line for Pat Burns. Pat was our coach. And we had a great year for the Hall Olympics. And then after that year, Luke came to play for the LA Kings. He was Rookie of the Year, and I played in Europe. And I came to visit Luke, Steve Duchesne, a former teammate as well, who played with him in Drummondville. And I was supposed to be here for a couple of weeks. I ended up staying for 6 weeks. We were in Malibu, living here. The Kings were out in the playoffs. We had a good time, and I realized at that time that LA might be a good place for me to live. I still wanted to be an NHL player. I was 22 years old. That dream never goes away. Even you still dream today. Sometimes in my dreams, I'm still an NHL player. So then, right around that time, I had some hard decisions to make about going back to Europe or staying in North America and try to get my life going and trying to do something else. And I decided to stay here. And Luke was great to me, and Steve Duchesne and those guys, and so they gave me an opportunity to be around. And the stories I started a car wash with a friend of mine, Gene Smith, but really I was around the game all the time. I was around the locker room all the time. I was at games. The Fabulous Forum was so fantastic back then. I mean, after games, I was able to go downstairs, really sit in the locker room and shoot the shit with the players and have a beer or two and have a slice of pizza and meeting all these celebrities and in the Forum Club, but also in the locker room after and being around the players. And so players were opening up to me as well too, because I was fresh out of the locker room. I understood the game very well. They were talking to their agent a little bit, and there was a time where most agents were just there for doing the contract once every 2-3 years, and it was just a contract thing. And most of them were lawyers, and a lot of them didn't really know the game as much. And players used to open up. They started opening up to me about how they felt about their game and stuff like that. And that's how I basically started with Luke. And I was doing some marketing deals for them a little bit here and there. And my goal wasn't to become an NHL agent. In fact, I was trying to be, I was in the ice rink business for a while in the late 90s. I was also involved a little bit in the music business. Funny enough, there's a singer by the name of Roch Voisine, who was a famous singer in Quebec, ex-hockey player. Roch was huge in France. He was big in Quebec. And I played hockey with him, and I tried to promote him here in the U.S. I met with David Foster. David was a part owner of the Hall Olympics. Wow. With Wayne at the time, and I went to visit David, and David actually flew to Montreal with me. We tried to work with Rock. We were able to get him an offer from Capitol Records, actually a 4-album deal, but he was actually with BMG France. So I was actually dabbling into the music business. I almost ended up being a music agent, actually. And then Alanis Morissette was around, Celine Dion, going to David's studios in Malibu, and I was more, actually hockey was my thing, but music was almost what I could have become a music agent, and it was funny around that time. And Rock ended up not signing with Capitol Records, but he did a song called "I Always Be There" for Canada Day 1993 with David for Brian Mulroney. So there's actually a scene on July 1st, Canada Day. David Foster's playing piano with Rock, and for Mr. Mulroney, and I was actually the one who put this together. So, but then as far as getting involved deeper and deeper in the music side of the business, hockey kept pulling me back in because that's my thing, and then I became officially an agent in '93 or '94, starting to work with Luke and many other players. Mario Lemieux actually gave me a great opportunity because I was doing his marketing with Steve Rich and Tom Rich, and I produced a video called Mario the Magnificent, actually in 1990. So I started before that, but I was doing all kinds of things. Anyway, I can go on and on and talk about how I got to that.
That is just so cool.
I mean, you were built to be a Hollywood agent of sorts. And then
somehow, and we were involved in that time, guys. We're involved with old Bill Gazzari's club on Sunset. There's a lot of history there, and we got involved with that building, a group of guys, and we started a billboard marketing. We had a company called Billboard Entertainment, and I was involved with that too. With the opening of that club that we named the Key Club on Sunset.
What?
So that was in the mid '90s. So I was touching that, marketing, doing the agency things, still looking for my identity. I was still always pulled a little bit. Always hockey was the thing, but music for some reason was and this club is still up today. It's going. It's not called the Key Club. I don't even know what it's called today, but anyway. So.
Yeah.
So right away, was it CAA hockey from the get-go, or were you just on your own repping Mario Lemieux, Luke?
No, it was. It all started with Tom. Tom Rich was a famous baseball agent, one of the best. He represents, Sammy Sosa and all the greats. And Tom was the first agent that signed Dave Parker in 1978, $1 million contract. Was the first baseball player making $1 million. Tom was a pioneer. He was by far probably the smartest agent I've ever been around in all sports. Very creative, brilliant man. And his nephew, Steve Rich, who unfortunately passed away last summer, was a great partner. With them, they had started to work with Mario. Mario hired him. Mario, in 90 or 89, he decided to go with a baseball agent, a very brilliant man, and then Mario introduced me to Tom and Steve, and then we started a hockey division called Rich Brisson and Rich in the early 90s, around that time. And then when Mario Lemieux came back as a player owner in 2000 or 99 or something like that, we weren't allowed to represent Mario anymore because he was an owner. We were in a conflict of interest, conflict of interest, they called it. So Bob Goodenow went pretty hard at Tom and Steve, and that's when Steve decided to kind of leave the business. And Tom and I continued together along with the group that we had with D. Rizzo and Jim Nice, and that was a time where IMG, Mike Barnett, became the general manager of the Phoenix Coyotes at the time when Wayne was coaching the team, and Barney left IMG, and I came in with our group to replace Mike, and JP Barry was actually there, so we became the co-managing director of IMG. IMG was an amazing opportunity too because we were able to be exposed to their sports world, basketball, football, and baseball as well. more because hockey was kind of behind a little bit. It's still behind, but hockey is going in a great direction. So in 2001 to 06, we were at IMG. And in 2006, Richard Lovett and David O'Connor at the time and Brian Lord, those guys, the heads of CAA, wanted to get into sports. And we met with them in 2006, along with Tom Condon, the head of football, myself and Casey Close at the time was the head of baseball at IMG, and we started CAA Sports in 2006. And CAA now has been in sports for 20 years, and it's been an amazing journey here. It's been a great, amazing opportunity, not only in team sports, but also property sales and naming rights and so on and so forth. It's been an amazing place to be, especially with all the resources that we have within the walls of CAA.
So part of this podcast beginning was your team convincing me that we could do this, because you have just such a great supportive team, you know, Jake, Jen, Dami, all those guys. Can you just talk about like the team you've created and just how great everybody is? Everyone is a family. Everyone's so nice. So how important that is to you.
Much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Kat. Well, we do have a great team. We have a great culture. I mean, no pun intended, but we try to drive a great locker room, because the locker room is key. We are, on most files, we approach everything as a team. You know, it's JP, myself, obviously, and then Matt Williams, Mike Chason, Jim Nice have been with me Jim's been with for 30 some years. And so is Di Rizzo. But what we've discovered, I would say 20 years ago, that off ice is as important as on ice. The contract is one thing. Then you have the medical files, you have the development files, but you have the off ice division that is extremely important. You know, I have some clients that actually speak to less than my off ice team does speak to. I mean, Jen probably speaks to, I would say, to Sydney more than I do, and or Dami does so much with Kopi. She speaks more to Kopi and Inez than I do. So, and Jake is involved in so many files too. And so about 18 to 20 years ago, we started with the off-ice idea to offer more to families and get to know them more, because we're never going to replace a player's family, but at the same time, we're an extension. It's important for us to know all members of their families and their needs, because as you guys know more than anyone, the contract is one thing. Once the contract's signed, how many times you guys look at your paycheck and you worry about being happy at the rink, being happy on the way home, be happy at home. I mean, the wins and losses will make it challenging at times, but there's so much more support that is needed for players than just the contract itself. And understanding, you guys understand your husbands better than we do, and so our off-ice team also try to get there and try to help as much as we can in order to, at the end of the day, structure the artist, because the player is an artist. He's a performer. You've got to put him in the best frame of mind as possible in order for him or she to produce. So, no, we have a great team. They're unbelievable. They push me all the time. I try not to be in the way, although they think I'm in the way all the time. So, but that's so good. And another one, and we'll come back to the off ice, but the medical files are extremely important too. We have now Dave Nicoletti involved, but also Mike and Matt. And Jim Nice are so involved with off ice, getting to know doctors very well, and understanding all the experts in every field at our fingertips. It's important not to wait for a team to tell us what to do when, unfortunately, there's an injury that occurs. We do have expert in that area, and we jump in. I think the medical file, mentally and physically, is as important as anything else, you know, that we offer.
that's so forward thinking, and I'm kind of like the outsider looking in because obviously my husband is not with CAA, but I've gotten to know. I keep telling Kat, they're like your boots on the ground people. Like I'm pretty close with Matt Williams because we live in Michigan. In the summer, we're neighbors with Dylan, and we see a lot of Matt. And I got to meet Jake recently, and I've actually spoken to Dami and Jen. Like, your team is something special, and it permeates throughout hockey and throughout the league. You can see the relationships, and they really do care about everybody. It's not even really just your clients. Like, they're looking out for the interests of the sport, and I think that is something commendable to you and what you've built, and the fact that you started that 20 years ago, saying it's more than just the on-ice contract is incredibly forward-thinking, and the medical part is only going to be more important, as this game progresses. So kudos to you. I'm very inspired by everything you are building and continue to do, because it's really fun to see and witness it firsthand, really.
Well, thanks so much. Again, it's the team. They're the ones too that are being. I mean, as a team again, we're being creative and we try to be forward thinking. We want to work on the next thing all the time. We want to separate ourselves too, and that's where we're challenging ourselves within the team. So to do that as much as possible. And it's such a great culture. I mean, again, we have the luxury to represent many athletes, many sports, and I hear so many great comments from agents in other sports coming to us and say, you know what, I ran into this hockey player, that hockey player, or the wife of this hockey player. What a great culture! I mean, it's great. We're blessed to be part of it.
Well, speaking of family, I know you were at Kopi's last few games. How was that for you emotional? Like, were you emotional? Sorry, that's probably, I was crying, but that's an obvious question, but just how much does Kopi mean to you?
Oh my God. To be emotional, I start crying the last 4 minutes, the last 3 minutes watching him, because this is a player that's been on autopilot the whole time, pretty much. An amazing example of what true superstars are. He's very smart. Andrei Kopitar is a smart human being. He could have been, if he wasn't a hockey player, he could have been pretty much anything he wants. He's very clever, smart. He's got a beautiful family with Ines and his kids. I got emotional because you see, when you've been doing these things for so many years, it comes and go. At one point you realize, wow, it's been 18, 19 years with Kopi, and now he's retiring, and what a journey, and what he brought to our family and our team, also to the game of hockey, and to the LA Kings and to the LA community, but sports in general. So it was a special night, and I didn't think, I was hoping for them to win, so that maybe they get another game, but that moment had to come at one point. He did it with such class.
That guy needs to be in narration. He needs to narrate some of these like hockey stories. So if you ever produce anything, put Kopi's voice on it, like Morgan Freeman.
Does he have the voice? It's an amazing voice.
I would listen like National
You're
Geographic.
so right. Yeah.
So I'm just going to put that out there. We're really good at manifesting things on this podcast. He's
He's got a commanding voice, basically.
And just like, I don't know, it's something. So that's
it
in
is
his
something,
future.
Julie. You're right. It is something, right? And he's smart, and his delivery, and English is not his first language. It's just amazing.
You wouldn't
know. No, never.
And
he's got a radio voice. He's got it. You're right.
Listen.
He's got it.
Like you
Yes.
listen. You're like enthralled, and that's everything I was saying. I'm like, this voice. Like,
Yeah.
anyways.
Yeah, that's good. But maybe we'll get us started working on something. Maybe how to fall asleep with Kopi with that voice.
Meditation with
Meditation
Kopi.
with Kopi.
The Calm app, the Kopitar
Yeah.
Calm app.
Kopi's calm.
I love that.
Oh,
Okay, so question: we were trying to figure out how you manage playoffs. You have so many clients. How does your travel schedule look? How do you plan it? How's that all work?
Yeah, the playoffs. A lot of times the players actually, they don't really care much to see you in the playoffs. They are busy. They're focused. They're in and out. In fact, you as family, you know, like they're different.
Yeah.
They're different tigers around that time. And for us, if we go in, it's a quick in and out. I rarely travel as much as I used to in the playoffs. I really enjoy, especially the first round, watching the 2-3 games a day, texting clients or their family members and all that, and be around, because it's also a crazy time for us right now. I call it the sprint from May 1st to late April to July 15th, because we do have kids coming out of college. We have all the exit meetings to prepare players before the exit meetings, after the exit meetings, and sometimes it's a potential trade, it's a potential extension, it's a potential this or that, it's an injury that we need to take care of. Then we have to prepare the combine, and then the combine, the conversations we're having with the GMs, it's more about not the draft so much, but it's about free agency and trades and potential, what they're looking for. So, and then we have free agency on July 1st, and then the camp, prospects camp. So playoffs, it's just, I like to be here at the office. I like when the staff is here. I like when we all here communicating with each other rather than setting up Zoom calls and all that. And being on the road, it's not easy to be on phone, on calls. So, so I travel up less than I did in the past, and I feel that I'm more efficient that way.
So the Olympics we wanted to get into as well.
Yeah.
How was that for you? Because you have so many guys on so many teams. How do you spread yourself, I guess, there?
Yeah, Kim and I had a great experience at the Olympics. Milan was great. Milan is Milan. I mean, special. And then the weather was spectacular. So, in the games, even prior to the final USA-Canada men's game, the women's game was a great game, the final game, and all the, the overtime, USA, Sweden, and Canada, Czech, all those games were amazing games. So the last week we got there, we were there last week, and so you make sure you see all the families, and then the PA had a family room. Actually, both teams were together, both countries. So between periods, you could be with the Swedes and the US families, or Canada, so on and so forth. So we did that. We make sure to see the families more than anything. We were staying actually at a hotel. We had Team Canada was there, so I ran into a lot of our players. It was sad to see when Sidney got hurt, because he was trying his best to come back. He was trying so many braces. We saw doctors. The braces were coming in and out of the building from the soccer teams, and Dr. Delaney and everyone. So I got to spend extra time with Sid that way. Felt sick to my stomach, the fact that he couldn't play, and he tried everything. His MCL was definitely damaged to a point where he missed the following 3 weeks. But being there with all the families and the players, the toughest part was really the final game, because I sat with Jim and Ellen for most games, or close to Team USA. We had 7 players on Team USA, 3 on Canada. I told Jimmy and Alan, I said, you guys understand, I can't sit, and I'm Canadian. And a lot of people were asking, which team you cheer for? I said, you know what? If it wasn't for my Canadian roots, I wouldn't be sitting here today. Hockey gave us, in Canada, everything that, the reasons why I'm here for. And quite frankly, too, I said, lots of American players have Canadian roots in a sense. So I'm always going to respect where I came from. So, but for me to cheer for one team or the other, I mean, it was an unbelievable game. And I was lucky in 2010 when Sidney scored. I was there when Sidney scored the winning goal for Team Canada. And then when Jack scored the winning goal for Team USA, that is another special moment in my career, to be able to be there with a client scoring that big goal, and having clients on both sides. I do remember when the Canadian team won in 2010, I made sure to go see the U.S. players first. Patrick Kane was on that team, and Eric Johnson. We had a few players, so we went there and first, and it was a calm situation. And then you see Team Canada after, so vice versa. this year we made sure to go spend time with our Canadian clients first, and then we went to the USA House later, and it was pretty crazy.
I'm
Ooh,
sure.
that's fun.
Speaking of milestones and these big moments that you're part of, like you've been part of them with Sid, Kopi, like all of these names, and then you have a Macklin come along this year. Like, what as your experience, everything you've seen, like what are you thinking as this kid is just having the season that he's having and setting record after record? Like, are you just sitting back as a fan, like, wow, or like, are you thinking next thing? What's next for this kid?
Well, Judy mentioned experience, and experience in life. It takes time. You acquire experience over time, and I had the privilege to meet so many great players, so many great young prospects over the past 35 years. Some became good, some became really good, some never made it to the NHL. And when you see those young players, you had the privilege to see, like Sidney, I first met him, he was 13 or 14. Jonathan Toews was about 14. Matt Duchene, John Tavares, all these young guys, they had some, I call it a special chip. They have that something. And I met Macklin, he was 14. He was going to Shattuck. Byron Ritchie actually was coaching him. Byron works with us, and Rick and Robin, they were in LA. His parents, they were in a hockey tournament, so met with them. I think he was 13 or 14, and I met the family, and you could see Macklin's eyes, the appetite, what he has. The brain was working 100 miles an hour, and then he went to Shattuck. I got to see him a little bit more there. Then he played with my youngest son, Jordy. And when you watch your son play, you watch the whole team because you watched all the games. And I off ice, on ice, I start seeing a lot of similarities with Sidney. And I'm saying this because I said it back then. I said, this guy's got so many Sidney Crosby's trait, like the way he treats people off the ice, his work ethic, his appetite, his compete, the fire within. Off ice, he's a gentleman. He's such a nice person, but on the ice, he wants to, he wants to win at all costs. And then we went to Chicago Steel with Jordy again. Jordy played with him. I brought my dad, Frank, and one time Frank took a picture with him. He said, "You're my Sidney." Yeah, and you're my Sidney, my dad. And because he heard me talking about that. So I'm not surprised. Would I project him to have 115 points this year? I mean, it's the type of season he had this year, the separation. No one can predict at that level. But am I surprised? No, I'm not surprised because of the talent that he has, but the mental fit, the mental is so strong, and he's got the full package. It's remarkable to see what he's doing, and he's making such an impact, not only on the San Jose Sharks but on our game. At the Olympics,
Totally.
It was unbelievable to watch him taking over at 19 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So it's great to see the Bay Area and for hockey. And I can only imagine where this is going. And now he's going to World Championships. He's agreed to go there, which is going to be another chapter. And I'm excited for him to do that. So.
Seeing
And what a
Macklin's-
great family! Sorry, you
yeah.
guys know them. The family, they're perfect family. They're sports family, with Charlie being a great tennis player too, and Aiden being a really good hockey player who's going to get there as well. In my opinion, he works so hard. He's got great traits, and RJ. Let's not forget little RJ, who looks just like Macklin. When we went to the Hobie Baker Awards, he's sitting there with his little tie looking at his brother, and I look at his eyes. Oh. Watch this one.
Yeah, somebody keep an
Oh,
eye
yeah.
out.
Oh, yeah, for
Well,
sure.
you and Rick are just the coolest guys walking down the tunnels together. You guys.
Well, I learned a lot from Rick, too. He's such longevity biohacker. He's a health sports scientist. He's so smart what he does. I mean, I love to pick his brain. We actually we talk about, health and fitness. That's what we talk about. How that's we talk about hockey a little bit, but mainly I pick his brain on. He's such an expert. He's amazing.
Yeah, I told Julie. I'm like,
Yeah,
Rick and Pat were together last night, and everyone's just like, wow, those are the two coolest dads ever.
Well, speaking of being a hockey dad, we cannot keep going on the conversation without your hockey dad experience and your son, your oldest son is
Brendan, yes.
Brendan with the Rangers organization. What is it like to experience it, take your agent hat off and putting your dad hat on? Like, the separation has to be so hard.
Yeah, it's very hard. It's very hard. I tell parents sometimes when we're talking about their sons, their kids playing hockey and, going through adversity at times. And I tell them, I do understand. And I broke a few remote controls in my life. What do you mean? You get mad? I said, I watch my kid, let's say on the power play, something goes wrong. I'm like all you guys, as a father, I react and, no different than Rob Toffoli would be at times, or and so being a dad is being a dad. No matter what, the hardest part is being able to separate, because I'm in hockey 24/7. This is what I do. I don't work I'm not an accountant going through the accounting firm and talking and looking at numbers all day or doing something else. I'm in hockey all day, and I get the issues from players, good or bad, all day long, and then you deal with your kids, and you have to separate, and you have to stay composed and not be emotional, and that's the hardest part, and I would say, and also, in a sense, your kids have a little bit of a target because he's in the business, and I tell people, like, I stay out of it as much as I can. Like, you'd be surprised. I do speak to general managers a lot more about my clients than I do talk about my kids to them. Although I do have things on my mind sometimes I like to say, but I try to manage it the best way I can. So it's a tough part. That's the toughest part, is being so in trenches with the game and having especially Brendan, who played games in the NHL, and when he was called up by the Rangers this year, and he had an assist that game, and I was sitting next to Jim Hughes, and I jumped and I hugged Jimmy, and I said, Jimmy, when you watch your kids play, you have 4 or 5 points a night. Yeah. I said, Brendan had an assist in 2 years, and I'm so, you know what I mean? That's between Luke, Jack, and Quinn. I said, you average probably 4 or 5 points a night at least when you watch your kids play.
I love that. Can you please tell Julie the wonderful story about Brendan's first game in the NHL with Vegas?
Oh, it was surreal, because it's actually couldn't have been scripted better than that. I mean, we're sitting in Vegas with my dad was there, my wife and I, and I wasn't sure Brendan was going to play that game because he had got called up, and we weren't sure. Never know. You find out game day if he's playing, and it's 11 a.m. on a Saturday morning, and I'm not sure if he's playing yet. And I get a text. It's true. I get a text from Sydney, because he said Brendan's playing tonight. Because all right, because coach, teams, visiting teams will probably look at the roster. Mm-hmm. And then 5 minutes later, I get a text, "Hey, Dad, I'm playing tonight." Oh, great! So thank God I'm close. We're close to LA Vegas. We jump on the plane in the afternoon. Actually, my wife and my dad were already there. I decided to get on the plane because I can't miss that game. I get there, watch the game. They're down 2-0 after 2 period. And then the third period starts. I think Stone scored to make it 2-1. And then Marchie scored. It was 2-2. And then with 10 minutes to go, Brendan's on a second power play. At the end of the first power play, he jumps in there, and I follow him. He gets the puck in the slot, and he scores the go-ahead goal. And I jump. I'm the first guy jumped the highest in the building at that moment. And, that was his first goal. And then Sidney was on the ice, and Malkin was on the ice. It was this, and then they won the game 3-2. He had the first star. It was really a special moment, his first puck. And Sydney, actually have the picture here. Sydney came after the game. He brought his game stick, and he signed it for Brendan. He gave it to Brendan. That's how classy Sidney Crosby is, you know. I mean, I got chills just thinking about that moment, because Sidney knows Brendan since he's 2 years old, because there were some stories out there, which is true, that he was staying in the house. He was 16 years old. He used to come here and train here with Mario, with T.R. Goodman, all those guys. And he was here for a couple of weeks. And one night, Jordy got hurt running around the house, and we had to take him to the hospital. And we grabbed Brendan. He was 2 years old or 3, and we put him in Sydney's hands and said, "You take care of him. We got to drive to the hospital. So what do I do with him? You figure it out." So there are pictures of Brendan in Sydney's arms.
Being babysat?
Babysat. And it was like surreal. It was unbelievable.
Oh my God.
That
That is such a Hollywood scripted story, and everything from him breaking the news that Brendan was playing, that's crazy to you.
It was crazy going there, scoring a winning goal, his first goal. It was an amazing moment. My dad being there, and then it was, you couldn't have
That is
scripted better.
crazy.
Crazy.
And the
cool.
babysitting. Well, perfect segue into, we are all things about hockey here, but when we talk about Sidney Crosby, we just want to know if you have tried his famous banana bread.
I have not. No.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Sid, okay.
Is it that good? Does he have a little
It's-
peanut butter in it?
No,
Only-
chocolate chips.
Okay.
It's pretty darn good, and I'm surprised you haven't. You're gonna have to give him
This is
a
going to
little
have to
will.
him, yeah.
Now I will definitely.
I'm
try.
sure Kathy and Sid will wrap one up and mail it to you in
I
LA
wouldn't be surprised.
if you
I wouldn't be
request it.
surprised.
They'll
Yeah,
next
Kathy
day
will
here.
take care of it. Sid won't, but she will definitely do that.
Yeah.
And-
Anyways, well, that
It's been a big topic this whole season is Sid's banana bread, but also a lot of the younger kids are starting to get in the baking core.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that's why this is a big topic in the NHL.
Yeah, well, we may, you know what, on this podcast, we may have Kopi's calm voice, and then maybe we do Cindy's
bake-off.
banana bread. We gotta get a deal going.
yeah. See if
We'll
Macklin
try to get
can
into
bake.
Earwands. I don't know if Earwands gonna accept that. That would be a good place, because the profitability might be better.
Oh yeah,
That's a great
definitely.
place for it, and it's going to cost like $45 a banana bread.
Cindy won't like that, though. He's
You
gonna
know
want
what?
everyone
We'll come and we will buy it.
to. Okay.
$87 banana bread. We will buy it.
You also have
Well,
Sydney's
no.
babysitting services as well. We've got a lot of things to,
Yeah, we got a lot of things to promote, but I'm sure he's not eating too much of that banana bread, because if I recall correctly, again, and I do recall that, he loves his sweets, and when he turned 18, he was actually in LA that year, and he told Kim wanted to make him a cake. He said, I don't want a cake, I just want cookie dough. Says cookie dough. He said, because he professed, I'm sure that whole summer, I know he did not have sweets, he didn't have cookies or cake, and he didn't want to cheat, because, and again, it's the mindset
Yeah.
of sacrificing everything to become the player that he's become, and he didn't eat sweets or any of those for 3 months, and at his birthday, he devoured cookie dough. That's his favorite thing. I remember that. So anyway, I don't know now what he
That's
does,
so
but I'm
cute.
sure he's probably, I wouldn't be surprised if he loves banana bread, but wouldn't be surprised if he sacrifices a situation and says, I'm not going to eat banana bread.
Yeah, he probably has enough
because
discipline.
it's his mindset again,
Yeah.
playing
Well,
mind
maybe
games.
maybe that's how the banana bread started, because it is like a healthier option of sweets.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe he was like, let's make it somewhat nutritious. That's so funny that Kim gave him just a chunk of cookie dough.
Just a bowl of
Cookie
cookie
dough,
dough.
that's what he wanted, something like that. Yeah,
I
I
love
know
it.
that.
Who doesn't
I
love
know
some
that.
raw cookie dough?
That's amazing.
All right, we should get into what we're gonna call our superstar superlatives. So, give us your best answer. Based on your Rolodex there. So, who is most likely to not answer your phone call?
Right now,
Or most
question.
times?
I like the
most
right now.
times,
Like, if-
ironically, I don't want to put her on the spot, but my wife, when I call her, she goes to voicemail. Kimber, I'm putting you on the spot right now. Um, yeah, no, not she.
Client
Not you know
list.
what? And I don't. I'm gonna get a lot of heat for that one. I don't know what the right things are all the time. Why don't you answer your phone? Well, I'm on the other line right now, taking care of the stuff that you don't take care of. So
Amen.
But
I'm on hold with
Yeah.
this company or that company.
I love it. Okay, most likely to call you at a weird hour, client-wise.
Marchie would be, Marchie 24/7. He will, could be 6 a.m. or it could be midnight, but I welcome it. I would say March or so.
So
Is he-
do you have your phone on Do Not Disturb and have like certain breakthroughs, or do you leave your
Yeah,
phone on?
no, I do at night. When I really shut it down, I'm off, completely off, because I want to sleep and, and recharge. So, but I do wake up, around 6:30, 6:45 or so, and I do have a bunch of texts or call. That's when. But usually, if I go, I don't have any. It's off, like, completely. So I wouldn't know if someone calls me in the middle of the night. Otherwise, I'd be
Nice.
up all night.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, thanks for taking mine to get on this podcast. So thank you. That was
Yeah,
very
anytime. You know that. Anytime.
thank you.
Yeah, you guys do such a great job too. So
Oh,
it's
thank
great.
you.
I love your approach, and it's awesome.
Thank you.
Okay, so who calls you? Weirdest hours, Marchie. Who calls you the most?
I gotta forget Marchie now. Who calls me the most? I would say right now probably, I would say Matt Williams and Mike Chason, because we're so connected. We talk all the time. But client wise, I gotta find who's calling me the most. You know what? It goes in cycles. If it's a time where a contract's about, like, to be negotiated, or trade, there were times probably I was talking to Toff probably 24/7,
Yeah.
because it was important and I always want to make sure that the priorities are the priorities based on what the client needs at that point. It could be someone in the American League or even the East Coast League. If it's urgent to that person, even the player who's makes $5 million a year, if that player can wait 2 hours, because it's all about priorities of what they need. So I do. There's a trend around the trade deadline where you're going to be talking to someone. Again, it comes to mind Noah Hennepin when he was about. You can ask Noah and Bobby when he got traded to Vegas. We were talking 3 times a day, but it was It was crucial. It was important.
Right.
But yeah.
There was quite a cycle of Ty and I being on the phone a lot with Pat, like in the car and stuff. Ty'd answer the
So
phone, and I'd be like, "Hey Pat, I'm here too. Let's chat."
Yeah, and thank God you were there, Kat, and we could balance everything out. Because if I speak
Yes.
to Ty about, and then Ty tells you what I said, then sometimes it's lost in translation. Not that, no,
Yeah.
forget my French, but did he say that? No, he didn't say that.
How did he say it?
How did he say
like
it? What is he gonna do?
Yes.
What is he gonna do? How did he leave it? I don't know, Kat. I don't know. I'm not sure.
I
just
found-
said it.
I really hope my husband listens to this podcast, because I'm always like, just put the phone on speaker, then I won't have 1,200 questions for you
Yeah.
after. He's like in the opposite room, doors locked. It has to be like a soundproof room.
Yeah.
Nobody's allowed. I'm like, this would save you a lot of headaches.
It's important,
Yeah.
just for all the players out there.
Yeah.
Bring your wife in there too, so you express and you don't have to repeat. It's going to be better for the couple too. Not that I have any advice to give anyone.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
it just takes
But
out
it is important.
the gray area, and also the player could hear something a certain way and the wife could hear it a different way, and then you
Oh,
can balance it like you
100%.
said.
Yeah,
So I like that.
and
It was
a lot of times you guys know from another team, the player's wife, how the team does certain things that the
Yeah.
player doesn't know, and a lot of things, a lot of factors. So we pay attention too. And when you're in Vancouver, you're in Jersey, and then in Montreal, like there are pros and cons and experiences that
Yeah.
we learned from this too.
Totally.
You know,
Yeah. For
very
sure.
important.
Yeah. Ty was just saying, yep, and it was me asking questions a lot. So thank you,
Yeah.
Pat.
Sounds about right.
Yes, very helpful. Okay, most superstitious client.
By far 87. Sydney, and I want to use somebody else too. John Tavares is very,
Runner up.
yeah, I would say that I know of like that. Yeah.
Any specific superstitions that you can tell us?
Well, Sydney, it's a lot about the numbers. I don't want to get into the contract yet, the numbers, but the routines of, there's so many things like even, where he wears, and we all know about his shoulder pads or his jock strap, or, he's just such a creature of habits to
That
another
did go
level.
viral the other day.
Yeah, it's, and John is so like he'll come to LA before, let's say the Leafs are in town a week or 10 days before. He'll text me, I'm coming in. What are we gonna do? Like, let's say he loves to, and I mentioned Irwan twice today. He would like to go to Irwan. He doesn't want to go to steak dinner. He's gonna want to go to Irwan and get healthy food and do the
So
same thing again and again every time.
Oh, that's cool. Wow.
Yeah. So, but I know there's a lot of superstitions with so many players. I know that I'm just kind of, the one that comes to mind obviously is Sydney because it's so obvious.
Yeah.
So, and well known, yeah. Okay, who is most likely to turn into a meme? We have a couple
meme?
answers for you. Like
What's
goes
a meme?
viral,
Right.
like goes viral the next day, and there's like a little clip of them doing something.
On Instagram or something like that.
Like you'll
or-
see it all over social media type thing.
Yeah, like just
Something
those
funny
short
they do.
clips.
Yeah, but let me see. I wouldn't say Fantilli. Jeez, again, you're putting me on the spot. Yeah, I hate when I don't have the answer, and I know after I'll say, "Oh, this guy, that guy, that guy."
We have an example, Julie.
Yeah,
if
give me
you
an
want.
example. Give me an
Yeah.
example.
Like Quinn in the Ghost, like how he's
Yeah.
like staring and he's
It's like the I see dead people. I see.
Yeah.
ghosts.
I saw that. Yeah, but he didn't create that. Someone did
no,
that.
that's somebody like
Oh, yeah.
creates it. Like
Yeah. Yeah, well, Quinn is a great example. It seems like, obviously, now since Jack, with the Olympics, there's a lot more around Jack and Quinn that way. But this one about the ghost, I know he didn't do that, but I saw that.
It's stuck around basically. It's
Yeah.
still going
It's a
strong.
thing.
It's a
Well,
thing.
Still going?
Yeah.
it's still
It's
going,
still
and now
going. I wish I had more. I know I got more there, guys. I just, I'm drawing a blank right now.
You know what? This is actually a Jen question. This would have been a Jen
Right,
question.
better. Oh,
'cause
yeah, for sure.
She's all over
Sure.
these.
Yeah. And she's going to tell me, how come you didn't know about this, then that? I said, okay, Jen, I didn't know. I knew, but
you say you need to give me more, follow-ups the next day. This guy's gone viral. This guy's gone viral.
Send me
Yeah.
more dumb
Yes.
updates instead of
Yes, and
Yeah.
more pointless update.
Yeah, we're pushing a lot on
clients.
players to be on social media. Though we like to do that, we want. I think we believe it's important. It is a separator now. Again, when I started the business, if someone did an endorsement deal with, it was a TV ad or billboard or print ad. Now it's like, it's about the followers and content more than anything. So Zegras is pretty good that way. Trevor.
For sure. Well, that answer is the best at social media. That was somewhere on our list too. So perfect, Zegras. Yep. Okay. Class clown. Who's the funniest guy at CAA?
At CAA, the funniest guy at CAA in the clients or
Clients, players.
clients, the funniest client at CAA. I would say, well, the first name that comes to mind, but he's not a player anymore. It was Marc Bergevin by far, by far. If when anyone who knows him in English or French, by far, he was like anything. Anyone knows the Burge. And
yeah.
I don't think there's going to be a duplication of what he does. And funniest guy at CAA. I mean, actually, Tony D'Angelo was pretty funny. Tony D'Angelo is a special one. If the guys who know him as teammates and guys who play with him, Tony's very funny, very clever, very quick. And I gotta have another one. Again,
I have a hint on Montreal. It's a popular answer we
Oh,
get.
well, sure, Cole. Cole is from. Well, you know what? You can't help yourself with Cole with his smile, and
Yeah.
it's funny right away. You start talking to him, it's funny.
Yeah.
It's like you look at Will Ferrell and you start laughing because it's Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
And Cole, it's not going to be just a straight up there's going to be a couple smiles in there that, he's got that gift.
Totally.
Yeah, he's awesome.
We love Cole.
Okay, I feel like I'm giving you all the hard ones. This isn't fair, but most different off the ice than you would expect. Does that make sense?
Well, no, okay. Nate is great. See, Nate, we know what he is. Focused, determined. Like he's the Nate dog. He gallops like a horse out there. He's the off ice. If you get him on the wrong, if he doesn't, like I talked to him Sunday after they beat the Kings. They swept the Kings, and he was in a great mood. We had a great conversation. It was great. He could go to a lot of different subjects. He wants to talk, and on. But when he's off completely. Like you could see him after, if he's not in the mood to have a conversation, stay the fuck away. He is for sure
Noted.
by far a tornado. But if he wants to talk, if he wants to go elaborate, like he goes on and on. So him with timing with Nate, and everyone knows that. His teammates know that. But you want to go to war with Nate though, because obviously you saw the teddy bear thing at the Olympics when he got the teddy bear. Like it's a perfect. People know Nate.
Talk
it's
about
the
meme. Him.
Yeah,
It is
that's a meme. That's a meme.
That's a meme. That is the
Yeah.
perfect. Because first time I saw it, I cracked right away.
You're
I
like-
know the character. We know how competitive and how the nonsense for him. I call it the red tape. He doesn't like it. He
Right.
doesn't like the gray and why. And he
Like,
got this
what?
thing. That is the perfect one, actually.
Most likely to ask you for the most random endorsement.
Random endorsement.
Please say Cole. Please say Cole.
Well, Cole is the best to work with, I would say, because he's more open to listen to our ideas and concepts, and Cole is actually fantastic when it comes to that because he understands his brand, he understands his value. He's taking advantage of it the right way. And to your question, Kat, he's open to random stuff. Like we're not afraid to bring things to him that sometimes we're not sure. Should we bring this concept to that player or that player? But with him, we're okay because he's not going to make us feel bad either. It's going to be constructive. Like it's going to be, well, guys, you really see me doing this or that? Or like right now we're looking at a couple concepts. Like I can't really publicly, like we brought it up to him and at first he was not sure, but now we're getting there. Hopefully we're getting somewhere. But he's someone it's so easy to work with because he's open-minded, to everything. So, I know we're talking with Gavin McKenna because he's a fisherman, and Biz brought it up on his called the left hook. That was kind of funny. We're gonna tone it down a little bit at the appropriate time. And Gavin, where he's from, and he's a hunter and a fisherman. He does the wild, and so those are things that we're gonna explore with him probably because it's important to understand what's important to the player first and what they're gonna want to be associated with. Their personality, yeah.
That is one of the first things you asked Tyler when we were talking about just being with CAA. You were like, I want to know your interests, like outside of hockey.
Yeah.
And that was a big thing.
Yeah, because again, it's important for them to, if they're going to do something with a brand, it's important for them to feel right. And we had players that were going to be compensated a lot of money to do certain things, but it was great. They were great brands, but they didn't feel the connection to the brand,
Yep.
And now that I think about it, one player who's doing a fantastic job, like off the ice right now, and on the ice, he was always a very great teammate, is Eric Johnson with ESPN right now. And Eric always had a personality. And when he finally retired, because he wanted to play this year, I'm just thinking, I'm going back to your questions. He wasn't sure, Eric, what he wants, because he's involved in many different things. And now that he's definitely on the media side of things, I think he's got an amazing future. He's got the personality, he's got the approach, he's got the charisma, and we saw it a little bit in the past, but not as much because his interviews were good. But now we can see that he's got a bright future, you know.
For sure. Most low maintenance superstar.
I started with Kopi on this thing. I mean, Andrei Kopitar himself. I use the word autopilot by far. Just on autopilot on so many. I'm talking about his career on and off the ice, about the achievements he had. I would say,
yep,
Kopi for sure.
Sure.
All right, I'm going to go off script because we have already answered those. Which Hughes brother texts you back the fastest?
Quinn right away. Jack will be a little bit longer. Luke would be in the middle, let's say, but Quinn would be the quicker. And then Jack, let's say Jack doesn't respond right away. So, hey, bro. All right, or something. All right, where were you, Jack?
Up.
Yeah, but he's on it. I'm not saying, but Quinn would be the quickest.
That checks. Okay, finally, who would be the best duo to have their own podcast?
Should we think? No, we don't have to have brothers there. Because, I'd like to see, we saw the Kachucks there, but I want to see, let's see, Tony D'Angelo's got to be on the podcast with somebody else, but we're going to have to
Figure out the co-host.
And the beep, would be, I'd see Tony with, who could it be, that someone opposite but funny as well.
Eric
Put
would them be together.
No, I don't think they play together. Eric would be fantastic with Tony. I mean, they would be great because they wouldn't be lost for words ever. Those two, 100%.
That is, yeah. Question for you, Pat. You have all these superstar clients, but have you ever been starstruck?
I'm starstruck with musicians usually, or people that are creating AI and stuff like. But in sports, in hockey, if I see growing up, when I first met Maurice Richard, that's a long time ago, or Jean Béliveau, those people. Yvan Cournoyer, guys, you don't even know who he is, but Yvan Cournoyer was my idol growing up, and when I see Yvan Cournoyer, I'll still to this day, I'll have like a pause, because he was my first idol. He was a captain of Montreal Canadiens, but current players that I meet in our game, I would say it would be more in other sports. If I see, obviously LeBron James was here in the office years ago when he was represented by CAA, and he walked in here and I got to meet him, and it's LeBron James. And I met Tom Brady with Mario one time, and Mario, everyone starstruck because Mario's got that presence, but then Tom Brady. But for me, I get starstruck if I meet Geddy Lee from Rush, or if I ever meet Robert Plant from Led Zeppelin, I would be extremely starstruck. These are the people that move me more. All the respect to hockey players, of course, but
I never knew this about you in music. It's so cool. That's like a wild path.
Well, when Neil Peart passed away, the drummer, he was an amazing drummer. That's probably my out. I need an out sometimes, and I'll venture to music a little bit. And speaking of music too, and I'm Jesse Ray, Luke's son, Jesse Robitaille, is fantastic. He's got a song out there that is unbelievable. it's called all over time or something like that. The beat it's amazing. He's great, and I'm saying that I'm not saying this just because it's Luke's son, but
biased.
that song of his, and every time I say Jesse, wow, I love that. I can listen to it all the time.
Oh,
He's
good.
fantastic.
I can't wait to listen.
Yes.
Really
Well, you answered our last question, which would be if you weren't an agent, what would you be? And I'm guessing it would be somewhere in the music industry. That was a fun fact.
But
Probably. Yeah. Yeah. Listen, if I was a talented artist, I would be to have a guitar and sing in front, be a rock star, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who wouldn't? So.
can you end this just, Pat, by telling us what your ideal off day is when you really tune out and shut off your phone and have a day to yourself? What does that look like?
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely a great off day. I like a sauna, I like the cold tub, just to, I like a good massage for sure, and spending, my best day is spend time with, my family, my wife, my two boys. I don't get to see them together all the time because they travel, and then Brendan's going to be home soon and Jordy soon. Obviously would be on vacation, something like in Cabo at the Las Ventanas. Mm-hmm. That's a perfect setting,
Yeah. Love it.
So.
Sounds dreamy to me. Well,
Yeah.
thank you, Pat, so much for joining us. It was so fun getting to chat and just kind of hear the different sides of CAA. And you know what? Maybe we'll cross paths here in this postseason.
For sure.
So I'll be looking for you.
Same here. No, thank you so much, guys. And I wish I would have been a little bit more ready for some of your questions regarding the.
No, the power of editing.
Sometimes they're hard, and I know they'll pop up to me in a couple hours.
No, it's great. Thank you so much, Pat. We
Thanks,
really
guys.
appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
All right, that was Pat Brisson. Oh my goodness, he's
the GOAT.
Yeah, he really is. I was telling Julie this before, but he and Mark Bergman, are best friends, and they're so similar yet so different.
I love that he brought him up too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. And I love Pat. It's crazy how that man can answer the phone for that many people. I don't understand it. His whole team, I can text any of them right now and they respond right away. They're family. They're just the best. And so you met Jake when we all went to dinner in New York.
Yeah.
And Jake's one of his team members.
Created a culture like I want to work for CAA now. Like it's just truly remarkable what he's doing and kind of the pioneer he has been in the space. And just the fact, I know you guys are close and stuff, but I still am shell shocked when people want to come on and talk to us and share this with other people. And I'm just so grateful for that conversation. I just think it's so interesting and fun.
Well, speaking of we're grateful for people's time, but that actually gave me anxiety taking his time. So, right.
Like it's just, anyways, I'm just truly humbled and grateful. I could sit and talk to him way longer, but we're going to respect his time. And hopefully I do run into him here, during playoffs.
He and Kim are just the best. You know what question I didn't ask him, which I should have when we were talking about endorsements? Should have asked him what he thought of Ty's mattress picture with his feet out.
Creative direction by Kat Toffoli, the one and only.
No. Okay, so Tyler did this mattress ad. It's a wonderful mattress, but I had to take a picture of him and Stella on it, and his feet are out. And I was like, Ty, put some socks on. Like, what are you doing?
No,
and
he knows
just like,
what he's doing.
Yeah, I'm like, wow.
Yeah,
In the back end, was that engagement farming? No, he doesn't think like that. He doesn't think like that. But still, I was like, oh my God, the amount of comments just dogging him on having the dogs out, aka the feet. And so I literally was like, wow, all right, thanks, engagement. Just you really threw yourself out there.
I can't remember if I commented. I remember I was in the middle of Mall of America when I saw that.
Of course you
and
were.
I think I wanted to comment. So if I didn't, forgive me, I will go back and engage. But I said, oh, looks like a perfect spot for a future sleepover.
Yes. Oh, did you? That's
Did
a
I?
smart one.
I
don't
know.
if
Did I even like? I feel like I said that in my brain. Did I type it?
I don't think you did because that would pop up on mine. Maybe.
Okay,
Still
maybe I'll
got
have
time.
to do. I'll go
Still
back.
got time.
I'll go back and engage.
No, most of them were like, "What's the dog doing? What are the dogs doing?" And we're not talking about Stella. Like it was a lot of those. So I like stopped reading because I was like,
smart guy.
I need a glass of wine to go through these comments.
I loved Courtney's comment. Where's all the shit that's on the that was on the footstool?
Well. She knows us too well. It's like a perfectly clean
you should
room.
See the behind the camera.
Yeah, it's like that one stool or chair in everyone's room that just has everything on it.
Yep.
Well, and then Felicia Wenberg commented on my birthday post of Ty the next day, saying like, "Oh, like I hope you treat Stella and Kat out to a big dinner now that with all that foot money that you got." So like, I was dying. I was like, "Felly, oh my god,
that's
like,
funny.
Yeah,
that's
she's
funny
so funny
stuff.
I know. Well,
too good.
Ty's not launching an OnlyFans, but that's just to.
He might have some spare time this summer, but we'll see.
It's true.
Well, gosh, it feels good to be back.
I know. I was gonna say I missed you last week. I was with my boys, Sam and Michael, but we missed you.
I know, and I love that you can carry that, and those two just getting the love that they have gotten. They, Will Mac, watch out. There's another duo in town.
Samisa. I didn't expect them to break out in song. I didn't expect a few of those things. Kind of funny that we were having quite technical difficulties with our Wi-Fi. So something that listeners don't know. I know. Silicon Valley, I don't know what's wrong with the Wi-Fi. But something viewers don't know is I couldn't hear what they were saying most of the time. So I was just guessing what their answers were because I know them so well at this point. So I do. So half the time I'm just like, I know what they're saying right now. I know they're just goofing off.
It was so much better that I was not on that recording because I would have been like,
you would have been like,
and I am the same way. You can read my face when I'm thinking something. It is there. I have no poker face.
Oh yeah, no. There were quite a few times. Like I heard them say ghost. But then I didn't realize what all the ghost tangent was.
Okay.
Yeah, like there were little tidbits here and there, but I think it's just funny that like they're so funny and cute together that I could kind of just guess where they were going. And then even the song with Justin Bieber, you kind of see me react and I go like, I'm like, thank you. Because I know that they were singing, but
it was so good.
Yeah, it was so fun. And I loved watching it back because I love them getting their flowers. They're so funny. Sam is just a comedic.
Yeah.
He's like
just
the Will
his
Ferrell.
Little shimmy dance before the game.
I know.
Okay.
That whole thing. He was like, I'm not going to, I don't need to recreate it. And I'm like, please. And he was like, okay. They're just so.
Twist my arm.
Yeah. Sam.
Breakout
honestly,
star of the year. Sam.
Yeah, I know. I love them so much. So thanks for giving them all the love.
But yeah, like, subscribe, listen to past episodes. We got a great set of guests from this past season. I mean, I look back and sometimes I can't believe everybody who's come on this season so far. But thank you for listening, and we will see you when we see you next.
Yeah, see you next time.
On Never Offside.